Pleasant good morning and welcome to LNTV News Live. 30 minutes of major happenings here in Liberia, Africa and elsewhere around the world. My name is Edward Tamba with this morning's presentation of the program. And the big stories we're following: government of Liberia signs 14 million euros grant with the German Development Bank for the pavement of the Ganta to Zedru Road. University of Liberia confers an honorary doctorate of human letters to President George Manawiya at the commencement convocation of UL Schools of Graduate and Professional Studies. The head of the National Road Fund Office, Boniface Satu, says his office is ready to ensure value for money in road maintenance. And away from home, Burundi denies a BBC report that the country runs a secret detention site to silence dissent. These developments are all packaged. After this break, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Paving a road from Ganta in Nima County to Zedru in Grand Juda County is expected to commence in 2019 as the government has secured a 14 million euros grant from the German Development Bank, the KfW. The signing of the financing agreement took place at a local hotel in Sinkal Tuesday. Finance Development Planning Minister Samuel Twe signed for the government of Liberia, while the director of KfW Regional Office, Adria Ferka Mariam, signed for his institution. Prior to the signing of the document, the two men had these words to say.
We face a market economic, we have a dual currency. So when you have a dual currency in a market economic shock, it's amplified, it's more difficult. What we're doing at the Ministry of Finance, working with the IMF, working with the central bank, working with other stakeholders, is to really ensure that under the PAP over the next 5 years, we really stabilize. We took some actions. The exchange rate in the last 5-6 months was free fall. We have stabilized the rate to some extent, and then we're looking to take further actions, other monetary and fiscal instruments. So on the macro side, but there's no short-term solution for all this. So you know this stuff. The macro economy has to be about long-term. Growing rice in Liberia, increasing, diversifying our export basket. This is what we're going to be doing under the PAPD. And the next steps for the PAPD, and I'm as Minister of State, is for us to work with UNDP, Palami, who's working with us to do a donor conference. Now, a donor conference, the British ambassador and myself talked about this today. All of your monies are already committed. You already have 200 million here, right? And you're bringing in 14 million. When we launch this donor conference, we want some new money from you. So,
on behalf of the German government, is currently implementing a portfolio to the amount of 260 million euros. This is in particular in the energy sector. It is also in what we call a complex of activities, investments, infrastructure in rehabilitation, recovery. This is quite integrated. It goes from rural development up to health. And then we have also some activity which is in the realm of forestry, which is the preservation of biodiversity. Now, the context that we came together for here today is the Liberian Reconstruction Trust Fund. And I may begin by saying that Germany, through KfW, is supporting the Liberian Reconstruction Trust Fund since 2008. It is that since 2008, Germany, through KfW, has provided so far 44 million euros to the Liberian Reconstruction Trust Fund. And it is my honor today to be here for the signing ceremony for the signing of an additional finance agreement which will provide an additional 14 million euros to be used through the Liberian Reconstruction Trust Fund.
Andres Mariam of the German Development Bank and Finance Minister for Liberia, Samuel Tue, earlier. While for his part, Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan assured that the ministry will ensure quality during the road construction process.
We want to thank the German government, but more importantly, we'd like to thank His Excellency, our President, for keeping engaged, for his wise leadership, which is yielding positive results for the people of Liberia in support of the pro-poor agenda for prosperity and development. From the perspective of the Ministry of Public Works, again, we'd like to assure that we will ensure value for money during the implementation of this project. And we will also stand ready at all times to ensure that Mr. President's commitment of connecting our county capitals and of connecting our communities, that this commitment is achieved.
Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan. The University of Liberia has conferred an honorary doctorate of humane letters on President George Manawia. The Doctorate of Humane Letters in Business Administration was conferred Wednesday at the commencement convocation of the University of Liberia Graduate and Professional Schools in Fendel. In the letter of honor, former UR President Dr. Ahmed Dennis recalled the various achievements of President George Manawia towards sustaining peace and stability in Liberia.
He became the first standard-bearer of the party, contested the 2005 presidential election, and lost to Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf in the second round of voting. In 2011, he ran against unsuccessfully for vice president alongside of Mr. Winston Tucker. In 2013, we were named as Liberia's Peace Ambassador, a position in which you served for a year. As Peace Ambassador, you managed and supervised the operations of the Liberian Peace Initiative, promoting national reconciliation and peace-building fora, intervened in restive situations, and negotiated with aggrieved parties such as your students, Ellen Step Down campaign, military and paramilitary protests, developed and launched quick impact public programs that sought to encourage national community-based dialogues, invested personal resources and finances in peace-building initiatives.
I have the greatest pleasure and honor to perform this unique task by the virtue of the authority in me vested by the Charter, the Visitor, and the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia. I do hereby confer upon you, George Manawia, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, LHD, honoris causa in business administration, with all of the rights, privileges, responsibilities, obligations, and immunities appertaining thereto, both here and elsewhere. Congratulations. We are all very proud of you, Mr. President.
Now, in response, President George Manawiya thanked the University of Liberia for the honor, describing it as a very important achievement. The Liberian president also used that occasion to acknowledge the students to go out and do better for the society, especially for the Liberian people.
I'm also both humble and proud that you have chosen to confer upon me this occasion the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, LHD Honorary Causa in Business Administration. I accept this preferment of distinction from you with a deep sense of humility and with profound gratitude. I take pride in being enrolled in the academic halls of the University of Liberia, an institution that I have long admired since the days of my youth. Today, to find myself standing here as visitor to the university and chairman ex-officio of its board of trustees, being conferred a degree at long last, even though an honorary one is another personal achievement which I hold in the highest esteem. As Liberia Higher Institute of Learning, we have educated, trained, and equipped generations of Liberians with the knowledge and skill set that have allowed them to compete with the best in the world and to play leading and meaningful roles in the leadership and development of Liberia. It is truly an honor to be recognized by an institution of such rich history and sterling reputation. To President Weeks and the entire University of Liberia administration, faculty and staff, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for this recognition.
President George Manawiya at the commencement convocation of the 99th graduation of professional and postgraduate program at the University of Liberia. But still the president of that university, Dr. Ophelia Weeks, says the recent declaration of free tuition at the University of Liberia is a that's a win-win situation for all. Dr. Weeks said the intervention by the government to cover tuition costs, also provide subsidy to the university, has brought great relief to the UL administration. The UL president was speaking Wednesday at the commencement convocation of the University of Liberia Graduate and Professional Schools in Fender.
The UL board recently approving a School of Public Health along with certificate, BSc and MSc programs in public health. Our 2 preclinical dormitories, laboratories and classroom building for first and second year medical students to be dedicated on December 20th, right here on the Fendel campus. Thank you, World Bank. Today, we celebrate all of our graduates and we say well done. The road has not been easy. The challenges have been many for all of us, students, faculty, staff, administrators. Each and every one has his or her own story or stories. Each one knows that story more than anyone else. Yet, we persevered through it all. Keep that in mind as you continue on your life journey, that you persevered. Even our institution has persevered. Liberia College first convocation was in 1866 with 1 graduate. And there were many years when Liberia College had no convocations. 1868 to 1869, 1874 to 1902, a 28-year span, 1910, 1913, 1915 to 24, a 9-year period. Even the University of Liberia had its dark days when there were no convocations. 1990 to 1991, 1994, 2003, and more recently, what year was that? 2014. 46 years with no.
Dr. Ophelia Weeks, president of the University of Liberia, FEJ, is coming our way. You're watching LNTV News live, coming to you from Pinsville, outside of the nation's capital, Monrovia. Edward anchoring this morning's edition of this program. And the big stories we're following: government of Liberia signs 14 million euros grant with the German Development Bank for the pavement of the Ganta to Zedru Road. The University of Liberia confers an honorary doctorate of humane letters on President George Manewia at the commencement convocation of the UL Schools of Graduate and Professional Studies. The head of the National Road Fund Office, Boniface Satu, says his office is ready to ensure value for money in road maintenance, and away from whom Burundi denies a BBC report that the country runs a secret detention site to silence dissent. We still got more developments ahead, but after this break, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. The head of the National Road Fund Office says the fund now has the structure in place to roll out its maintenance program across the country. Mr. Boniface Satu said they currently have a maintenance plan that covers a major road network across Liberia. Take a look at what he has to say.
Of public works along our donor community, even including the Little Challenge, they have set up a system, an annual maintenance plan that will cover the entire country, and will carry out periodic and routine maintenance. And they will be using our local contractors to carry out the routine maintenance. The routine maintenance part of it, if you go, let's say if we have a real plan to get our plan start to work, and we gave contracts, let's say we fragment all of our or different communities and say, okay, let's look at Lockington or the Bushwa Island, and we have a contractor that you can hire for, let's say, 3 years. You give me a contract and you're asking to maintain your area. So regularly, if they're maintaining the roads, we wouldn't be in bad shape that way we find ourselves. So once we have a holistic plan, and looking at the road fund, I think we have the means by which now we can maintain our roads. You cannot build roads and you cannot maintain them. So once that annual maintenance plan is approved, you will see implementation going throughout the country in terms of.
Mr. Sato at the same time said to ensure success of the Road Fund, the government must work with the Road Fund Office to exercise the best practice in financial management.
One of the great things that will happen for us through the public works, wherever they get funding, financing. The African Development Bank finances everything in our office. From the vehicles that we have, it is not the government that purchased new vehicles for the road fund. All the vehicles that were purchased by the African Development Bank, our computers, our chair. The GIZ, the German government supported us also, provided a vehicle, provided chair. So when people say, you know, there is no support coming in from international partners, I would tell you, no, that's not true. Right now, the international partners are very excited every time they're in the office, making sure that we move forward in terms of our road connectivity. So my only advice here is that all we need to do from the road fund and the government is to exercise best practice financial management. Once we can manage the road fund well, I believe the partners will come in. In Ghana, they took on their own. All they did was they used their own funds. Thereafter, you saw all of the donors coming in and they started supporting the process. So the road fund office started from May up to now. We are very proud now that we have a structure in place that we can be able to generate funds for our roads. And
Boniface Sato is the head of the Road Fund Office there speaking. Deputy House Speaker Prince Moi says he will remain unwavering in empowering people of his district in Bong County. Deputy Speaker Moi said upon his election in 2017, he succeeded in creating District Number 2 as an administrative district, making Bong County to have 13 administrative districts. Deputy Speaker Moi also spoke of financial empowerment for the citizens of his district as a way of giving back to his people.
Been involved with so many things. If you go to District 2, the first thing we did was to create District 2 as an administrative district. So Bong County now has 13 administrative districts. So with District 2 being created, we have been able to establish a local government structure through the executive, headed by the commissioner and 3 clan chiefs, 1 paramount chief, other general town chiefs in other administrative areas. During the first term, we saw the erection of clinics based on our contacts. We saw the construction of bridges. We saw the rehabilitation of roads, although some people may say that's not the work of a legislator, but given the fact that we have come from a devastating civil crisis, you cannot hold on to your constitutional mandate alone and say, look, I'm not going to. But we have been able to lobby, we have been able to make the case through the national budget and other friendly partners, ensuring that we have those things done in the county, in the district.
Deputy Speaker Prince Moi, meanwhile, he's also been commenting on his recent trip to the United States of America on the invitation of U.S. Congressman Eric Paulson.
Congressman Eric Paulson was one of those individuals that stood on the floor of Congress to articulate the plight of Liberians. So that was something that we needed to say thank you for in terms of those that didn't have legal status in the United States. Yeah. So he has been championing that. I think it is at a level that even the former speaker, Orion, and other people started to give it a keen look. So we had that meeting. He also asked about the Millennium Challenge Corporation grant that the United States government approved in the tune of over $200 million. How was it impacting the lives of Liberians in the different sectors, rules, illiteracy, expansion, and whatever? So we were very clear. We told him that we appreciate it, and it's doing pretty well for our country. Rofala was there, and we also articulated the plight of the current government, having taken over, having had a transition. It was time that they looked to our side in terms of solidifying the support they had, for us. We also had a town hall meeting in Minnesota during our stay, and then we met with the 2 cities, Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center. Those 2 cities have sister city relationship with Kakata and Bonchama. By this December, if I am not mistaken, the Brooklyn Center delegation will be coming here. But then we, what was the discussion we had, we channeled it through the Consul General in person of Jackson George. He's a Consul General at the Consulate in Minnesota. He will now follow up with the executive on part of the discussion we had.
Deputy House Speaker Prince Moi there. The mayor of Princeville, Pam Bersha, says she is concluding plans for the construction of a modern library of students and young people in Pinsville. According to the mayor, this will do a lot to keep the young people in Pinsville in development. According to Madam Taylor made a comments recently in an interview with the station.
I've been at this junction for over a month, trying to put some order, some semblance of order into place. As you can recall, there was congestion and all of that, and we're trying to do the beautification process as well. In the background, if you can turn around in the background, there was a park here, a flower park. We've decided to uproot all the plants because it had become a public toilet and it was offensive, the odor is offensive. So we're cleaning it up and we're going to be in talks with Public Works because on this area we want to open up a reading room for the young children in Pinsville where they can come, they can read storybooks, and maybe we can show them educational programs like movies. And so that's our plan for this side of what the flower park is.
Pam Taylor is the mayor of Pinsville that's speaking. In observance of the climax of the 16 days of activism, ActionAid Liberia has concluded a 2-day workshop in Monrovia. The workshop focused on women's rights and gender analysis for state and non-state actors. ActionAid Women's Rights Manager Elizabeth Johnson has been explaining the significance behind the program.
ActionAid is a rights-based organization, and most of our work we do it with communities and state actors to be able to do programming, integrating the whole issue of women's rights in the systems and structure. So this is actually a refresher workshop. So we have been having series of this kind of workshop, but this one is a refresher. So we go into the end of the year. We thought that it was good to be able to have this workshop to bring together civil society organizations as well as state actors to be able to understand, to briefly discuss what was some of the current context around women's rights issue, how we can be able to program since we're going to be looking at next year, and what some of the mechanisms we need to put in place as partner to be able to adequately address women's rights issue for the coming year.
ActionAid Women's Rights Manager there, Elizabeth Johnson. And away from whom now, Burundi's authorities have dismissed a BBC investigation into alleged secret torture sites as fake news. The BBC Africa Eye report said that the government was running secret detention house to silence dissent. It showed footage widely spread on social media of blood flowing from a drain of a house in the capital, Bujumbura. And at least 2 people have been killed and more than 40 injured after police attacked opposition supporters at a rally in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The incident happened in Congo's second largest city of Lubumbashi. Activists said 15 supporters of main opposition presidential candidate Martin Fayulu had bullet wounds, but the police denies that anyway. That brings us to the end of this morning's presentation of LNTV News Live. Before we let go, a very reminder of the big stories we told you. Government of Liberia signs 14 million euros grant with the German Development Bank for the pavement of the Ganta to Jedru Road. University of Liberia confers an honorary doctorate of human letters on President George Manawia at the commencement convocation of the UL Schools of Graduate and Professional Studies. The head of the National Road Fund Office, Boniface Satu, says his office is ready to ensure value for money in road maintenance. And away from whom, Burundi denies a BBC report that the country runs a secret detention sites to silence dissent. Many thanks to all of you for watching LNTV News Live. Many thanks to all of our contributors, reporters, editors, and switchers for making this edition a success. On behalf of the entire production team here at the Liberia National Television, thanks for watching. My name is Edward Tama. Good morning. Bye-bye.